Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan.
Jai Sriman Narayan.
Jai Sriman Narayan.
Jai Sriman Narayan.
I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome Mother Lakshmi in her original form on this 4th day of Navaratri, celebrated here in Durban at the Sri Narayan Dham. I welcome those of you that are physically present, and I welcome those that are watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally. I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. Today should be the greatest day for those of us that belong in the Sri Sampradaya and those that are celebrating Navaratri from the Sri Sampradaya. Because it is in these 3 days that Mother Lakshmi in her original self is celebrated, and she is the CEO of the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya. Mother Lakshmi is the eternal consort of Lord Sriman Narayan. What does that mean? Lord Narayan and Mother Lakshmi have been existing eternally and are inseparable. Mother Lakshmi, Lord Narayan have been existing eternally and are inseparable. Lord Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Mother Lakshmi is his eternal consort. This Sri Sampradaya belongs to Mother Lakshmi. This Sri Sampradaya belongs to Mother Lakshmi. 1,000 years ago, when Sri Vaishnavism or Vaishnavism as a whole was a flicker in the darkness of atheism and trans-theism, Lord Sri Ramanuj took his birth and lit and rekindled that flickering light of Sri Vaishnavism. And in doing so, Mother Lakshmi handed Lord Sri Ramanuj the Sampradaya and said, "Here, you run this Sampradaya." And since 1,000 years ago, this Sampradaya, the Sri Sampradaya, the Sampradaya that belongs to Mother Lakshmi, the name of Lord Sri Ramanuj has been added to this Sampradaya. So in terms of spiritual hierarchy, the foremost spiritual university belongs to the consort of all knowledge that can be attained from this university, Lord Sriman Narayan. Lord Sriman Narayan is the reservoir of all knowledge. Mother Lakshmi has been handed this university wherein absolute knowledge of the reservoir of knowledge can be distributed from. And it is for this reason that we say that the Sri Sampradaya cannot be surpassed or paralleled. A sub-branch of this university, a branch of this university is the Brahma Sampradaya, is the Brahma stroke Gaudiya Sampradaya. The Kumaras Sampradaya and the Rudra Sampradaya. In terms of spiritual hierarchy, it is logic and common sense that Mother Lakshmi, who exists eternally, then the Sri Sampradaya also exists eternally. These other three Sampradayas only come into effect during creation and are annihilated at dissolution. But the Sri Sampradaya is contained within Mother Lakshmi eternally. And this is why I have stated that those of us from the Sri Sampradaya that are celebrating Navaratri this day, or these 3 days of Mother Lakshmi in her original form, is most important to us. Going back to the concept of Navaratri, the first 3 days of Mother Lakshmi in her mode of combat as Maha Kali, the enemy within, lust, anger, greed, jealousy, prejudice, pride, illusion, was to be destroyed. And after the destruction of these weeds from your mind, Mother Lakshmi in her original form now comes to maintain and prosper that mind. Maintain and prosper that mind. And the significance of the next 3 days is maintenance and prosperity. And when we look at prosperity, material prosperity is last in line. It is your well-being, your physiological prosperity, your mental prosperity, your biological prosperity, your relation prosperity, and at the end, your material prosperity. And Mother Lakshmi uses these 3 days for those that have weeded off this enemy from the mind, now to maintain and make that mind fertile for the input of knowledge. For the input of knowledge. So, in the first 3 days, the garden of the mind, all the unwanted weeds should have been uprooted by Maha Kali. And in these days of Mother Lakshmi, we should be using spiritual fertilizer to fertilize our mind so that the last 3 days, Mother Lakshmi in a form as Mother Saraswati can plant the seeds of the Vedas so that they may sprout in our mind and grow like a creeper into the heart of Mother Lakshmi and Lord Sriman Narayan. And through our devotion, we can climb this creeper at the end of this lifetime and reach the ultimate destination, Vaikuntha. All of you understand? In line and keeping with the policy of our satsangs, I am now going to divert to Vishishtadvaita, absolute Vedanta, and the world is Lord Narayan's class. So, yesterday I stated the importance of discoursing Vishishtadvaita to the world. And I stated that my granddaughter, who is going to be 1 next month, she will be presented with a tablet so she can watch cartoons, and when she grows a little older, she can go onto the internet and type in Sri Sampradaya. That's it. Lord Sri Ramanuj, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, Advaita, because she would have heard her grandfather speak in these words. And when she types in all of these, then she will be lost in confusion, because in all these philosophies there are contradictions. Each philosophy contradicts 2/3 of the Vedas, besides Vishishtadvaita. So based on this age of information technology, my granddaughter is just used as an example. In a few years' time, children 6 and 7 will have capacity to surf the net and attain any knowledge that they require. And if we do not bank this absolute knowledge of Vishishtadvaita now on the internet, then if something is not there, cannot be retrieved. And it is for this reason that the Sri Narayan Dham has been consistent in re-establishing Vishishtadvaita as it was re-established by Lord Sri Ramanuj 1000 years ago. Conflicting philosophies cannot run parallel to each other. And it is due to this conflicting and contradicting philosophies that along the way we will be refuting that which has been taught wrong to the world. And we will be refuting not through any personal ambition, but through God's words. And I have decided to use for all of this the Bhagavad Gita, the spoken word of Lord Sriman Narayan in his incarnation as Lord Sri Krishna. So there is nothing personal, and Vishishtadvaita is not sectarian. It is universal and it belongs to all. On this journey, we will make this information crystal clear so that when these 6 and 7-year-olds, when they go onto the internet, they will have knowledge from the Vedas and not from Wikipedia and not from Western professional reciters who have learned Sanskrit. For the Vedas cannot be researched. It is an authority on its own. No one can research it. It can only reveal itself. The Vedas can only reveal itself. No one has the capacity to research the Vedas. And for this reason, both Wikipedia and the Western translators are giving false information on the internet. Remember, the Abrahamic religions is only a few thousand years ago, aren't they? Adam and Eve, how old are they? How old is Adam and Eve as per the Bible? About 2000 and some odd years. And these translators from the Abrahamic religion, will they have capacity to translate beyond or give information, Vedic information, beyond the birth of the first man and woman according to them a few thousand years ago? It will contradict their own religious beliefs, wouldn't it? So would they tell you that the Mahabharata is 5,000 years old? And this is why it is necessary for me at the Sri Narayan Dham to bring all of these factors into its perspective so my granddaughter cannot be confused while she's playing with her tablet. And when she goes into internet, she receives proper information about our glorious Sanatan Dharma. And as I've stated previously, many philosophies exist together with sub-philosophies and sub-philosophies because information was not at man's fingertips and anyone dressed in orange could tell you anything. Today, information is at man's fingertips, and no one can ever lie to you again about any philosophy or any verdict untruth. And I'm not refuting whatever is there. You are refuting it with me. You are refuting all false knowledge in Sanatana Dharma with me. We are refuting this knowledge. I am not a crusader in Sanatana Dharma. I am a sweeper. I'm sweeping Sanatana Dharma clean of false philosophies. And we are all picking up the dirt together. We all picking up the dirt together and flushing it down wherever. So that this generation of my granddaughter, there is absolutely no confusion. And I am using God's words as my proof. I'm using Lord Narayan's words spoken in 700 verses in the Bhagavad Gita to sweep out all false philosophies and misinterpretations by Westerners, and to give proper dates as to the existence of Sanatana Dharma and its knowledge. All of you understand? So let us go back to Mother Lakshmi. Mother Lakshmi is the first in line of all Vedanta. Mother Lakshmi is first in line of all Vedanta. Lord Narayan is the origin of Vedanta. Lord Narayan is the origin of Vedanta. He is number one. He is the mother of all knowledge. He is the mother of all gurus. Lord Narayan is number one. Mother Lakshmi is number two. Vik Vak Sena is number three. Who's number three? Vik Vak Sena. He is the general in Lord Narayan's army. And he is number three. And I'm going to confirm this from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, translated by Swami Prabhupada. And this translation will confirm that Swami Prabhupada himself is a follower of Vishishtadvaita, which is the source of all spiritual knowledge. Canto 5, Chapter 20, Text 40. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Master of all transcendental opulences and Master of the spiritual sky. He is the Supreme Person, Bhagavan, the Super Soul of everyone. The Devis or the Devas led by Indra, the King of Heaven, are entrusted would see to the affairs of the material world, to benefit all living beings in all varied planets and to increase the power of those elephants of the Devas, the Lord manifests himself on top of that mountain in a spiritual body uncontaminated by the modes of material nature, surrounded by his personal expansions and assistants like Visvaksena. He exhibits all his perfect opulences, such as religion and knowledge, and his mystic powers, such as Anima, Laghima, and Mahima. He is beautifully situated and he is decorated by the different weapons in his 4 hands. Verse or text 41. The various forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana and Vishnu, are beautifully decorated with different weapons. The Lord exhibits those forms to maintain all the varied planets created by his potency, Yogamaya. So, this is a confirmation by Swami Prabhupada in his translation that Vikvaksena is a personal assistant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan. There are 3 types of souls, as I explained previously. Eternally liberated souls, liberated souls. Who will be liberated souls? Those that were once contaminated and now liberated, and contaminated souls, those of us that are now in the material universes. So how many types of souls there are? 3 types. Vikvaksena is eternally liberated. What does that mean? He was never materially afflicted. Garuda, eternally liberated, means he was never materially afflicted. Both Garuda and Vikvaksena, whenever required to, comes down to earth upon the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to assist him in the affairs of the universe. This is absolute Vedanta as per the Sri Sampradaya, now confirmed by Swami Prabhupada in this translation, which confirms Vishishtadvaita as absolute Vedanta. And I said I'm using the Bhagavad Gita to consolidate all the statements that I make during the discourse. So I use the Bhagavad Gita to consolidate all the statements that I make during my discourses. And in line with that, I'm going to read a verse by Swami Sivananda, who belonged to the Advaita philosophy. So I'm reading chapter 15, verse 15. Chapter 15, verse 15. And I quote from his translation, "And I am seated in the hearts of all. From me are memory, knowledge, as well as their absence. I am verily that which has to be known by all the Vedas. I am indeed the author of Vedanta, and the knower of the Vedas am I. What do you understand by that? Okay, let me give you Swami Prabhupada's translation, and I quote chapter 15, text 15. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas am I to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. What do we understand from this too? And now I'm reading a verse by Swami Ram Sukdas, and he is neutral. He does not claim to belong to either Advaita, Vishishtadvaita or Dvaita. And he translates chapter 15, verse 15 as follows. I am seated in the hearts of all. I am the source of memory, knowledge, and the reasoning faculty. It is verily I, known by all the Vedas. I am indeed the author of Vedanta and correct interpreter and knower of the Vedas too. I won't read from Lord Sri Ramanuj because I have enough saints, neutral and other philosophies confirming what he has painstakingly confirmed through 60 years of deep and arduous study of all of the Vedas. So what is this verse meaning? Okay, just to put the cherry on the top, I know tomorrow is my birthday. I'll be looking whether there's a cherry on top of the cake. Alright? But to put the cherry on top of this cake, Adi Shankaracharya, as I explained yesterday, magnanimous in his 32 years, he brought India from total darkness to partial light. And he passed on at the age of 32. And he postulated a trans-theistic philosophy for the purposes of enticement. For the purposes of enticement. And he postulated the impersonal theory whereby God is not a person. Whereby God is not a person. His follower is Swami Sivananda, who has also translated in this Bhagavad Gita exactly as Swami Prabhupada and exactly as Swami Ram Sukdas. Okay, so there is no contradiction in this chapter 15, verse 15 by all the gurus that translated it from Sanskrit to English. I'm not reading their purport or commentary. I'm only reading their translation. Okay? Because the translation is easy to understand. You do not need to be purported. You know, purported. As Shawan will say, when you change your number, then you have to port your number. You can see him, I'm advertising for him. He's now working for Telcom. Alright, and if anybody needs to port their number, go see Sherman. Alright? But you do not need to be purported because this verse is so simple. Okay? But I'm going to add the cherry on the top. Let's see what Adi Shankaracharya has to say about the Bhagavad Gita itself. So when he translated the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm putting a chocolate on top of the cherry, because I'm reading from Swami Prabhupada's The Science of Self-Realization. Alright? And I'm quoting Shankaracharya when he wrote the Bhagavad Gita, his mantras in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. And he states, the Upanishads are as a herd of cows. Lord Krishna, son of a cowherd, is their milker. Arjuna is the calf. The supreme nectar of the Gita is the milk, and the wise man of purified intellect is the drinker. And this is from the cherry on the top, Adi Shankar Acharya. Okay. Now when my granddaughter watches this discourse, you think she'll remain in Sanatana Dharma or she'll go to one of the Abrahamic religions? She will, because the Guru dispelled all conflicts and doubts by using the broom of the spoken words of the Lord Himself. So in chapter 15, verse 15, the Lord is saying that He is the knower of all Vedas. He is the compiler of Vedanta. Vedanta is the Upanishads, the end portions of the Vedas, and He is the compiler of the end portion of the Vedas, and He can only be known through the Vedas. Who this is? Lord Narayan, in his form of Lord Sri Krishna, is stating that He is to be known from the Vedas. He is the compiler of the Upanishads, which is called Vedanta. And the Guru has read verses from the Vedas where Lord Sri Krishna confirms that the entire Bhagavad Gita is Vishishtadvaita. The entire Bhagavad Gita is Vishishtadvaita. If the entire Bhagavad Gita is Vishishtadvaita, then it means from this verse that the entire Upanishads is Vishishtadvaita, because He is the compiler of Vedanta. And He can only be known through the Vishishtadvaita interpretations. He cannot be known by any other interpretations. All of you understand? Are there any confusions? Are there any questions? Any questions? Sita? In the pursuance of your doctorate in spirituality, did you come across these truths? Thank you. Any questions? Well, there'll be no satsang tomorrow. I'm leaving the province. Jai Sriman Narayan.